Thank you very much, everyone, for being in here. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. And just before we will start, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Jakub, and I will guide you today throughout this session or workshop. And I'm very honored to actually host this important workshop because it's a very important topic, and I believe a lot of people find it very interesting. But I also hope a lot of people find our discussions and information that will be shared on today's call very useful for their lives, etc. So it's a privilege for me to be part of such a meaningful conversation, and let's jump into that. So we are actually gathered in here as a part of the Creative Europe program, which has given life to Inspire project. This initiative is a collaboration between 3 dedicated partners who believe in the power of creativity and community to spark important conversations about the issues that touch lives across all the society. So before we will jump into the discussions, I would first like to introduce those partners. So first of all, Martina, representing Lautre Festival from Spain, which connects mental health and the arts, is here with us. So Martina, why don't you introduce yourself and the project, please?
Okay, hi, nice to meet you. Not only me, but also Bea is here. She's in another camera. So we are from Barcelona, and we are a small non-profit organization that's called l'Altra International Performing Arts and Mental Health Festival. And we are a festival that normally we program around 35 shows every year about performing arts and mental health. And we are really glad to be here with you. I don't know if Bashi wants to edit anything else. Okay, so.
Great. Thank you, Martina, for introducing yourself and your project. We have also today with us Adam, representing Warsztatownia from Poland. It is an organization known for its creative workshops that inspire communities. Adam, can you share more about Warsztatownia, please? Can we, Martin, we don't have Adam, sorry.
I forgot to unmute myself. So yeah, actually Adam is my colleague. You might have mistaken us, but it's okay because we are quite similar, I think. So Warsztatownia is, I'm Michael, and I'm our CEO. And Warsztatownia is a Polish foundation residing in 8 biggest cities of Poland. And we specialize in organizing artistical events, mostly workshops, like the name implies, of course. But not only. We also do spectacles, we do concerts, we have an artistic incubator for independent artists when we support the journey to the big scenes. We also began as a social project and gradually moved on to where we are right now. So we know the challenges they face at the beginning. But we also do various social projects like support groups for young adults and mindfulness, open exercises, and many more stuff like this. I'm not going to go into detail because there is a lot of random stuff we do. For example, we've recently done a socially engaged techno party that's where we collected funds for the Ukrainians in Poland and teaching them the language. So we do a lot of stuff, mostly artistic and social. We also have a creative agency and mental health clinic. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow, Thank you, Michal, for introducing your project. It sounds very interesting and exciting. Good. And last but not least, we have Kateřina representing Meziploty from the Czech Republic, a festival that uses arts to address mental health and social topics. Katka, would you like to tell us more about Meziploty, please?
Yes, thank you, Jakub. So, Meziploty is the largest culture event supporting mental health in Central Europe, and it has been held since 1992 in the garden of the Bohnice Psychiatric Hospital in Prague. And the festival involves artists with physical or mental disabilities performing on the same stage and for the same audience as the professionals. And mental health experts also participate in the evening, engaging directly with visitors in open discussions. The festival offers support and assistance to its attendees, and it is the only one culture event in Czech Republic that is completely alcohol-free. Thank you.
Thank you, Katka, for introducing Meziploty. Thank you all, by the way, for your wonderful introductions and contributions. So let me now introduce one more thing, and that is a topic for today's workshop, and it is an addiction. So that is a subject for, it could be deeply personal, but also universal. Addiction affects people from all walks of life, whether through, substance use, behaviors, relationships. It is a challenge that requires empathy, knowledge, and especially action to address. And today, together, we will explore not only the struggles that addictions bring to one's life, and we will also have two amazing guests with us today who will help us to, have the insight into their unique experiences, and they will share their perspective on this complex topic. So now let me briefly introduce who they are before they will jump on. So the first guest will be Lenka Mezeiová, a healthcare professional who works also as a contact worker at Drop-In, a Czech low-threshold center for harm reduction and addiction treatment. Lenka will provide us insight into how addiction affects society and how practical solutions can make difference. So Lenka, let me start with you. First question, could you please introduce yourself, because I am sure that my introduction was not very much sufficient. And also, right over, if you can share with us what led you to actually work with Drop-In.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me here. It's very interesting to sit here with all of you, with such inspiring people. My name is Lenka Mezeiová, and I'm a medical student in my final year, in the 6th year, and I'm based in Prague, in Czechia. For last year and a half, I've been working, as Jakub said, as a healthcare worker and contact worker in a non-profit organization called Drop-In in its low threshold center. My area of expertise is focused on the effect of intravenous drug abuse on clients' body, chronic wound healing, and also I'm very interested in the topic of equality in healthcare system and harm reduction tools. So that's kind of about me, and why I choose to work in Drop-In. Drop-In is a place which is very complex organization, which is very interesting, and there are loads of different type of people, and yeah, I was very interested in in addiction as a topic which is very complex. So yeah, that's the reason why I started to work here.
Interesting, Lenka. Could you maybe tell us a bit more about drop-in? What actually low threshold center means? What is that? What is the mission? What does it mean to operate as such a center? Can you share that with us, please?
Yeah, of course. It's very interesting because drop-in, I would just start with a brief introduction what drop-in is, because it's very connected to the mission. Drop-in is a non-profit organization, which is the oldest, and we are focused on a non-alcoholic drug abusers, which is very important. And we are the oldest, and we were founded in 1991, and because of that, we are the oldest non-profit organization which is based on non-alcoholic users in Czech Republic. So we have loads of experience in that. And what is our mission? We have two mottos which we use, and I really like them. One of them is "It's never too late," which is I think that's very important to realize that it's never too late for anyone to start with life change. And the second one is also "The longest journey starts with first step," and we are able to help you with these first steps. Now I would like to continue with explanation what is low threshold center. I have to say that Drop-in is like a big non-profit organization with different services, and one of them is low threshold center, which means that we are a center where there are actually no barriers for our clients to come. It means that they can come with their families, even, for example, with their pets, because sometimes our clients are also like homeless people. So they can come with their pets, and it's absolutely no problem for them to enter. And they can also come when they are under the effect of drug. And if they need any kind of help, we are here for them to try to help them. So that means that we are a low threshold center.
Good. Thank you for addressing that question. So maybe to dig a bit more deeper, since we now understand what the low threshold center is, can you maybe give us some examples of the harm reduction tools that you use? Like, I would imagine needle exchange programs, or some, medical I don't know, supports, supplies. How do these contribute to the public health?
One of the most important thing what we do is harm reduction. Just to briefly say what's actually harm reduction. Harm reduction tools are sets of strategies used to minimize the negative impact of drug abuse on our clients. We admit that not everyone is able to completely being completely abstinent. So we accept that, and we are trying to minimize the negative impact on their bodies. So we have two different aims. One of them is the health of our clients, and the other aim is the health of a public health, like the whole community, which means we would like to reduce the risk of HIV, hepatitis C, and that's two very important topics in harm reduction. What we use in our low threshold center is the needle exchange, which is one of the most important. It means that people can come to our center, and we will change the dirty needles for clean ones, and we also collect the dirty needles, or they can also come and ask if they can get free clean needles, and it's for free. So that's one of the harm reduction tools. The other is also we provide safe monitored space for drug use, and of course education, how to minimize the negative impact, that they should not share the needles and all this information. We are also, because I'm a healthcare worker, so I'm trying to provide them a basic consultation of their healthcare, and trying to send them to different specialists, so that also trying to do. And one very important thing is that we are trying to provide naloxone, which is the inhibitor of the opioids. So when someone is overdosed with opioids, we can give them naloxone, and it can help with the overdose. So we use it time to time. We have to use it in our low threshold center when someone overdoses himself or herself. Or what we do now is to give the naloxone to people like in advance, like a prophylaxis. So that's kind of a new thing, and it's kind of building this building in Czech Republic to use naloxone. So yeah.
Interesting. Just out of the curiosity, you mentioned a lot of, let's say, a physical healthcare, support that you do. Do you do any mental healthcare on top of that?
Yeah, definitely we do, because the addiction is very complex problem, and our low threshold center, they have me like a healthcare worker, but there are also a lot of like couple of therapists, yeah, and psychotherapists. Yeah, so we do. And what is very important, I think that I would like to mention, is that we provide this psychological support not just to our clients but also to their families. So their family or relatives can come and they can discuss. They can have like free consultation how to manage the whole addiction issue.
Yeah, interesting. Is there any type of all the variety of all the addictions that you work with that could be particularly difficult to treat, and what are the factors that influence the treatment success?
That's a very interesting question. I would say that treating of any kind of addiction is extremely hard, and it's extremely complex and consists of huge dedication from the person, from the client. We call them clients. As the reason of itself, like the reason of the addiction is complex, so the treatment need to be very complex. But from my personal point of view, I can say that very important thing is in a therapy is the fact that the person wants to be treated. There must be his or her motivation, not motivation of his family or the society, but it really needs to go from the person. And I think that's the key factor. The other thing what can really help is a professional help. We can see that at the numbers of in smoking therapy. We have data that if you're trying to quit smoking by yourself, there is the success rate around 3 to 5%. But if you use help of professionals like pharmacotherapy, but also of course like psychotherapy and all these like a net of treatment, the success rate is much higher, around like 30 to 35%, which is very big difference. So yeah, that's very important. And yeah, I would say that, but any kind, I would say that like any kind of treatment of any kind of addiction is extremely hard. And we see in our low threshold center, we see that people are coming twice, 3 times, like there is kind of a big chance of relapse, of course.
Okay, I understand. That must be difficult. Out of maybe your experience and speaking about the Czech Republic, because I would assume that's the main area of your expertise, what are the most common addictions that you face over there, and how, maybe if you have any insights, how do these compare to the global trends? Are we, having any exception, or are we align with the rest of the countries?
Yeah, I would start with with the fact that I'm going to talk about the substantial addiction, because we have two different types of addiction: the substantial, which means you are addicted to nicotine or something like that, or non-substantial, which is like gambling. And I would talk about the substantial addiction. I was searching for the latest data from the National Monitoring Center from 2023. And yeah, the fact is that we have, in Czech Republic, we have a very big problem with smoking. Around 20% of population above 15 years are smoking population, which has like huge impact, because smoking reduce life expectancy around 10 to 11 years. So in Czech Republic, we have a very big problem with that. Another very big problem in Czech Republic is alcohol and risky drinking. I think Czech Republic is very known for drinking, which is very bad. And I found out the data that around 1.3 to 1.7 million people in Czech Republic are in a range of risky drinking. So that's really really bad. What we are other addictions are, for example, psychoactive drugs like benzodiazepines. That's what we work, for example, here in Low Threshold Center, overusing of diazepines. And from the common illegal drugs, the most common is cannabis in Czech Republic, which is kind of the same, like from the world perspective, that cannabis is also one of the most used in the world. What we are a little bit special in Czech Republic, that we have kind of, let's call it a tradition in intravenous drug abuse. We have around like 41 to 43,000 addicted people who take the drugs intravenously, which is kind of unique, and it makes kind of consequences in their health, of course, in their health, because it's much more risky than take it different way. And that's also what kind of we are trying to do in our Low Threshold Center, that we are trying to motivate our clients to take the drug in different way, less risky, which is also harm reduction tool.
True.
Yeah.
Maybe one practical question. I'm not sure how much of the trend you have seen, but maybe that's my own personal perception on this everything. But did anything banning of smoking in the restaurants and in the pubs all over the Czech Republic do with the amount of the smokers, or is it quite the same as it used to be before? Do you have any data on that, or?
No, I don't have any data on that. I would have to search for that, but I definitely do recommend the National Monitoring Center. They have really nice collection of data, but I don't have, and I do personally think that it makes difference, but I don't have the data for that. Yeah.
No worries. I was just curious over there. Good then. What maybe if we flip it the other way around, not speaking about the people who are already addicted, but what about the triggers that make them addicted? How can society, families, and individuals take, some prevention before they will even get, into the addiction? Is there anything that we should be, very careful about?
I would start with the triggers for addiction. I've prepared a small graph or small painting. I'm not so sure if you will see that.
You see that one?
Yeah, can you see that? Perfect. It's called like amoeba. Amoeba take point of our personality. And can you see? I'm a little bit sorry for.
Fine.
Yeah, that's fine. So this is the blue lines are our our personality. Let's call it amoeba, and it's us. How do we work, and what we do have, like if we are talkative or not talkative, and this kind of stuff. Then there is this red square, which can be our society or our job or our school. or whatever is kind of like fixing any kind of rules around us. And as you can see, like we don't quite fit into the red square, right? Like some places are missing, or some parts are not fulfilled. And actually these green parts, all these parts which are kind of missing, let's call them missing, otherwise like we are not fulfilling the society, the school expectation, the family expectation, or the parts which are not fulfilled in us. It makes the frustration, it makes the pressure to fill these parts. And these are actually the triggers, because the question is what we're gonna fill these parts with. That's a very personal thing, because we can also fill them with addiction. So actually this green part, like missing, what we are kind of missing in a school, missing in your job, missing in your family, can be a triggers, if it does make sense.
It really does. It's interesting. Never thought about that this
Yeah,
way.
it's very interesting to have a look at this amegotic point of view of personality.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe just, to kind of also tackle the high pressure professions. Maybe that's very connected what you just, demonstrated to us. Those can often lead to some addiction. So what advice or tools would you actually recommend the people who are in such roles? It could be doctors, it could be, I don't know, teachers, but maybe not even, the professions, but also, society roles like, fresh mother, for example, etc.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, I would go back to the talking about the missing parts in that visualization, because the question is how we will fill these missing parts, and exactly we can fill it with, I don't know, cocaine to be much more faster in your job. That's what's happening, what we see, or with different kind of drugs, and then we will continue in risky using and in addiction. And I would love to give you like some proper manual how to fill these parts, but actually it doesn't really exist. You need to find your own way how to fill these parts. But what I quite like to realize, that maybe I have another drawing, maybe we can change the red square, into different one, then where we will not miss so much of these missing parts. So maybe we can change the job, or we can, and you need to be very honest to yourself to realize that you maybe need a change. So that's one approach. Another approach is to try to fill these green parts, and you can do it with different activities. Someone's do it with a sport, someone's do it with a therapy, someone's can fill it with like relationships. But you need to be like very honest to yourself and trying to find your activity. Yeah.
Interesting. Lenka, since we are coming almost to the end of our part, maybe is there any kind of message that you would have to the people who would listen to us, based on your experience, where, as soon as you share it with the clients you work with, or, even with your family, everyone is like, oh, that's super easy. I've never thought about that. Is there anything that you have to share, or unless it is something less universal, be my guest, please share anything you would like to share with the people.
Perfect. I would like to share one more kind of idea. What I realized during working in drop-in with our clients is that we should learn to work with our needs. Yeah. Because actually, if our needs are not filled, and everyone needs something different, someone needs to be loved, someone needs to be a little bit more appreciated. It's different. But it's very important to work with the needs, because if we don't work with our needs, we will be frustrated, we will feel pressure. And these are maybe the trigger points for beginning with some like addiction and drugs. So yeah, I would like to share let's work with your needs, try to identify your needs, and then dealing with your needs. Which is definitely not easy, and I think it's very hard work, but it's worth it to think about these things.
Definitely. Lenka, thank you so much for being our guest and share these valuable insights.
Thank you very much for invitation. Thank you.
Happy to have you. Good. Thank you very much. That was Lenka Mezeiová. Our next guest, we have a singer. We speak about addiction. That is a challenge that affects many people in different ways. And I would say the artistic world is no exception. We know many cases of the artists who fell under the addictions. Some of them came out, some of them they didn't, unfortunately. But I would say that artists would actually face a lot of pressure and challenges in their career. Some of them, have the feeling that, their audience is actually willing or wanting them to get the best out of that. And some artists might feel under a very, extensive pressure in the end. And I would really like to say that to help us to understand this better, I'm happy to welcome our second guest, Saša Langošová. Her latest album from the band November 2nd recently won an award called Anděl here in the Czech Republic. She's a lead singer. So Saša, thank you very much for joining us. And from the very beginning, again, maybe I am not really the best person to introduce yourself, but if you would be so kind, and please tell us more of what you work on right now, and how are your details.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me in this really interesting and important conversation. My name is Saša Langošová, and I'm a singer of a band called November 2nd. As it was said, this year we won Czech Grammys for Album of the Year, and it brought my band back in the spotlight and back on the stage. We're performing way more frequently than we did in the past years before we released this album. But I'm my day job, besides being a musician, is a lawyer. I have a lawyer practice, and besides that, I'm also a mother of almost 13 years old boy. So I'm juggling all three careers. Right now, I'm at work, actually. I'm at the office, but with our band, we are recording new songs and also playing many, many gigs. So we're keeping busy.
Thanks, Saša, for introducing yourself much better than I did. Maybe right from the beginning, as you said, you are juggling 3 jobs, advocacy, or basically being a lawyer, and being a mother, and also being, lately rising star again. It can be also very stressful, I would say. How do you deal yourself with the pressure of being in the spotlight, not only, you know, by the public, but also, you know, by your child, by your clients. How do you, you know, deal with this everything, with the expectations from, you know, the public or from whoever I named?
Yeah, well, there are many questions hidden in this one. So I'll start with the being in the spotlight, which seems like a fantastic thing, and it is a fantastic thing, but it brings along a lot of stress, much more than I first realized it would bring. And it's, you know, being a musician, it really took me years to realize that the core of being an artist is not to enjoy being in the spotlight, but to focus on everyday's work. And it actually is something that my violin teacher told me when I was a 5-year-old girl starting to play violin in the music school, that it's all about hard work. And about the process of making music, because that is what really matters. And you need to keep your feet on the ground and enjoy the process. And you should not be misled by success, or on the other hand, by failures that are inevitable when you don't meet your own expectation or some other people's expectation. What's also difficult is that it's connected with the constant doubt about the music you make. Is it good enough? Am I a good enough singer? Is the song good enough? Was the show good enough? And you're somehow, you know, longing for a positive feedback from other people. And you shouldn't do that. You just have to focus on what you want to do. If you enjoy it and if it makes sense to you, then yeah, do it. And it's right and it's good for you, no matter what other people say about it or think about it, or if they like it or not. So yeah, keep your feet on the ground and dive in the creative process.
Well, that's a great piece of advice, and especially from you, you know. I would like to ask you maybe, you know, regarding the times when you faced stress and difficult emotions, how was the music anyhow helpful for you? Was there a time when the music actually served for you as a therapy, for example?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Music is a healer. It is. It totally helps you deal with frustration of every day, but also the frustration of challenging times.
Yeah.
It really helps to shout it out loud or sing it out loud or pour the frustration into lyrics or into a heavy beat. There's nothing better than that. And I realized that I do use music as a kind of therapy.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it can totally help with the stress and with difficult emotions. And what's even better, something new comes out of it, you know. If it's a tiny piece of lyric, or maybe a music idea, or maybe even the whole song, that's just fantastic. So it really works like that. And also music for me, it helps me to, I don't know, deal with maybe find out things about myself, because sometimes I am surprised by what kind of lyrics I come up with. And I'm like, where does it come from? And only later I realized that it's something that's been hiding somewhere in the back of my mind for a long time. So yeah, it helps to deal with various issues. But I must say, from my personal experience, when you are going through something like really painful and difficult, like severe depression or maybe death of a loved one, it can be hard to make music because music demands that you are totally open and bare on the inside. You need to do it with like total honesty and purity, and that makes you vulnerable. And if you're dealing with something really painful that you want to, you try to get away from, then music just amplifies it, and it can actually be too much to bear. It just hurts so much. So, and it happened to me that when I was going through a very tough time, I just wasn't able to sing. Like, it didn't bring any joy, and I couldn't really do it. I couldn't open up myself to sing because it was just too painful. But once I got through that and I was back to being able to sing and find some, enjoyment in it, I knew that I was out of the woods, and I was actually doing better. But anyway, music can save your soul. It's true what they say.
Well, and we are happy that you're out of the woods and back with us and performing. Very much enjoying your music. And that actually maybe is the one thing that, brought you to the spotlight. As we said, you won the awards, Angel. Did this success maybe bring in new pressures for you, especially when dealing with, such a sensitive topic as like mental health? Is there anything, that you didn't experience before and now it actually came over?
Well, it has brought a lot of stress that's related to like public performing, public speaking, even about things that are not directly connected to music, such as today, addiction. I'm no expert on that. But there's also a weird pressure on appearance, and I find it stressful, and it took me by surprise. And it also brings attention that feels very pleasant and nice, and I can feel good about myself. But I feel that it's kind of unhealthy, because it makes your ego grow bit by bit. And I don't think that's good. Like, it took me many years to try to get over my ego, actually. And I think that's something you need to do if you want to grow as a person. And this spotlight is, it's like bringing me back to my 20s. I don't want to feel good about myself because someone tells me that my music is good. I should not really depend on what other people think. So I realized that I need to, focus and realize that this success is just an illusion. It doesn't say anything about how good I really feel about myself. I should know my own worth.
Yeah.
I should not rely on that. And the success, it never lasts. It will go away. That's inevitable. There will be other trends. other new music, and so I should not be, unhappy about it. So, yeah, as I said before, it's really important to, keep your feet on the ground and focus on what is really important, and that's making new music, Another thing, and I also mentioned it before, is juggling a lot of work. Like it's time consuming, being a musician and a lawyer, and then there's family life. So there's this constant sleep deprivation, lack of energy, bad habits. It's really hard to keep a healthy daily routine. And honestly, I haven't figured out how to deal with that properly.
Yeah, I understand. There is more of us in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe from the perspective of an artist who has been around for quite a while, is there, any, a piece of advice that you would actually like to share with the starting ones, especially, with the topic of preventing or avoiding the addiction? There is a lot of pressures, as you named that yourself. Is there any advice that you might have for such people?
Yeah, it's true that artists and musicians are sensitive souls. So I think they are especially prone to addiction because there's that constant doubt. Then there is the ever-present change between the thrill of creating something new or playing a great show and the despair when you fail to write something that you like, or when the show doesn't go so well. So you are, it goes like that all the time. And there are also like stage fright issues. Sometimes even if you are not the case that, is a nervous wreck when has to go on stage, then there's the need to get into the right mood or the flow when you go on stage. And that's exactly the situation when you think like, well, maybe a drink or two would help, or maybe even something stronger. And you do it once and it works. It works.
Yeah.
You totally loosen up and you enjoy the show. You do it second time and, there you go. That's a bad habit. And also, I realized that musicians often feel that you need drugs for inspiration or to boost your imagination.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are many risks, and but from my experience, I can say, and when I was younger, I admit that I thought, well, maybe drugs can be fun. They can help you and you can manage it somehow. But I was lucky. I never got addicted to anything so that it would be a problem. But I saw many friends and close people who really got into huge trouble. So now I can tell you, and this is the advice, don't ever do drugs. You don't need that. Just don't do it. There are other ways to get inspired. There are other ways to feel comfortable on stage. And there are other ways to deal with those mixed emotions that this profession brings. Just don't do it in the first place. Find something else. Like, you can find inspiration really everywhere. Meditate, do write songs. The more songs you write, the better the chances that some of them will actually be really good.
Yeah. Thanks for that. And maybe if we step out from your role as an artist, but put you in the role as a parent, is there any different approach that you would actually, think parents can do to help children and teenagers avoid these risks?
Yeah, I wish I had an answer for that. I could really use it, but I think that it's important to support your child in finding what they like to do, what their interests are, and then make sure that they do it, so they keep busy doing something that brings them joy and is meaningful for them. It can totally fill those gaps that Lenka was talking about, with some meaningful activity. And I think that it's important to talk about that issues and make your kids feel that it's safe to talk about it, that there will be no judgment from their parents. And so they should definitely know that even if they do get into trouble, it's really safe to come and ask for help and say, sorry, I think I'm in trouble, help me.
Yeah, that's a good advice. Maybe someone will use it. And I'm sure that maybe someone in the audience would take it. Maybe one last question. What would you like to say about, the importance of talking openly about addiction and helping people find the support they need as, an artist? I know that, you said that you are not an expert, but it's actually great to, have your perspective as an artist and everything.
I think it's really important to talk about it. It's not a comfortable issue and topic for discussion, but and I think it's still for some part of society is a taboo. But you can't solve a problem if you are not able to have a conversation about it without judgments or, being frowned upon. So this should not really be a taboo. There should be a public discussion, and people should realize that addiction is an illness like any other. And I think it's really necessary for young people to have information about the risks and danger of specific substances. And most of all, it's important that they know where to look for help and support if they need it. And I would like to say one more thing. Thank you, Lenka, for your fantastic insight from, being a part of Drop-In. Me, myself, as a teenager, I attended a lecture by Drop-In. My grammar school had experts visiting, and I remember it. It was a really, really good lecture, and there were. It was accompanied by a music program, and that was really. I think it was a really good way to talk about this topic with like secondary school students.
Sasha, thank you very much for connecting the dots for me and also sharing your experiences and thoughts with us. Your story and your music inspire, I think, a lot of people, and thank you for sharing that everything with us.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. As we come to an end of this workshop, I want to take one last moment to thank everyone who made this possible, mainly to our main guests, Sasha and Lenka, who talked very honestly with their own field of expertise and inspiration. To also our partners, Lartre Festival, Warsztatownia, and Meziplaty. Thank you for your dedication to raising awareness about the mental health and addiction through the creativity and collaboration. Addiction is not just a personal struggle, it's a society one. But today we've seen that through understanding, support, and creativity, there is always a hope for recovery. So let's keep this conversation alive, not only within this very workshop, but also out of that. And let's continue supporting one another. Let's work together, build communities that take care of each other and that are compassionate and inclusive. Thank you very much, everyone, the guests, the partners, and also the audience for being in here today with us. And I hope you leave with some new insight and inspiration. So I wish you a good day and take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for an amazing
Bye.
lecture. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.